It's about 10 minutes after 10 o'clock, October 10th. I guess could you call the roll, please, Rebecca?
Yes, sir. Rod Billingsley,
Present.
Bob Witters,
Present.
Lee,
Present.
William Brainerd,
Here.
Arnold Lopez,
Here.
Daniel Goulet, he just stepped out, John Aragón,
Here.
and we have Travis Martinez, who is our new project inspector.
Travis is the project inspector. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Bob moves.
Second.
Bob second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I ran out the door and it's sitting on my desk.
Next item is approval of the minutes. You guys have had an opportunity to review the minutes. I think they were sent out. I think one revision regarding the date of those construction of the old hangars, and I don't know if y'all got that revision, but that was 1942 instead of 1920. But I think that, I know the change was made because I received it, so. Is there any other changes or additions or deletions of the minutes?
No.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Doc approved, motion for approval.
I'll second that.
Bob, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is public comments, and I guess at this point, I'd open the floor to anybody that has a public comment. Do we have any members of the public present? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to new business. First item of new business is we'd like to welcome Carrie onto the committee. Carrie's a local business owner with ECC Solar, and he's a pilot. He's got a Mooney, and he leases a hangar at the airport. And Carrie, I don't know if you'd like to say anything to the rest of us. I think we kind of know each other, but I'll open the floor and let you maybe give us a sense of what you're hoping for the committee and kind of some of your background, if to the extent you would like to share it.
Okay, didn't prepare this, so this is a winging it, but thanks for inviting me to the board, and I hope I can help out with stuff. I've been interested in flying. I started when I was 16, but I never got my license until a couple of years ago. And so now we have a plane, and we like to, my wife and I are visiting family a lot with our plane and around, which has been great, and interested. And like you said, we have ECC Solar. We've had that. It's a business we've run for 30 years, and we've been here for 25 of that years in Vegas area. We live in Las Despensas with the family there, and just moved our office next door to here almost, just right over here. So we've got a bigger office now, so we're doing good with business around town. As far as the airport goes, want to just help out if there's things we can help out. I've been flying around and learning other airports around, so I see what they do, and then I see what we do, and it's like get ideas and stuff. So if there's things I can help with, try to work with John, and John's been great, working stuff out there with some of the really old stuff we got. And if we can get new stuff, I know that's on everybody's mind, I can tell. And me too, because we've been, I'm not real picky about things super fancy, but I do need to get the doors open to get the plane out, which was an issue this last week. And so if there's anything I can help with, an electrician, and I do controls, so I've been able to help out a little bit with the airport on that. And if I can, any way I can help in that way, I'd like to help. And So just anything I can contribute, you wanna do that, and help it move along. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Kerry.
Chairman, if I may,
Very
I just
welcome.
want to express our thank you on behalf of the airport and the city. Thank you for your dedication to, to the committee. And we appreciate, your time, your effort that you're gonna dedicate to this and making the airport a better place. But thank you much and welcome on board.
Thanks.
Here, here.
Yeah, that's what I say, yay.
And thank you so much for lending your electrical expertise
Oh, yeah,
to the.
pitching
here.
in for,
You're a licensed electrician, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, I know with some of the motors you got down and.
Yeah, I've done motors and control work, so that's
Yeah.
why I was able to help a little bit with some of the stuff out at.
Yeah, it was nice. I'm sure John appreciated a little pitch in. I appreciate the light. That's nice.
Does it work better?
Yes,
Did
it's
you get a
pretty
light
cool.
bulb? I was gonna look at that.
Yeah, we put a light in.
Yeah,
I was
it
looking
looks
at that,
like a
okay.
new
Cool,
light.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yay. Yep, already tried it out.
I know our electrician appreciates you too. I guess you've helped him on a couple of little motor repairs, I think you mentioned.
Well, just at the doors
Yeah.
there,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
worked together on it. Now, he was great. He needed control work, where he helped with
Yeah,
that
he
part.
was very appreciative. Thank
So-
you on his
But they
behalf.
they got the motor in there and got the key, which was, I know that was a pain in the butt, and they got that all done. So we worked together and got it done, so it was good.
It's awesome. We have that expertise there.
So, on that door, if I may
Does it
ask.
still work?
Yeah, it works fine. We replaced one or both it only
One.
looked like one.
One new one. Part of the problem, I don't know if you want that, the water on that door, what happened, I probably killed it, because I put the door up in the rain,
Well,
not knowing that was a problem to work on the plane.
Yeah.
And it filled up with water on the top.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then when I went to close it, all that water off the top dropped, poured on the motor, and it was sparking and all that. I think that finished it off.
I think Ernest was gonna build like some shield
did.
for it. Oh, he did.
Yeah,
He
I
did.
saw that
We-
there
we
is
can
a shield over
Potentially
'em.
either shield them or get waterproof motors. There's waterproof motors I hear available. I don't know that much about that part. They're drip proof, not waterproof,
Yeah, not submersible.
not submersible.
Just so you don't like
The,
water.
the lower hangar had that problem too. I was worried about that. It used to have water, when it was just closed, the rain would go down and go on it and stuff. So when it was raining, I was afraid to open. I didn't open that one. Luckily, it was probably good. It
Yeah.
was raining.
Okay, well, thank you, Kerry. I guess that brings us to several discussion items. First item is follow up on that bottom hangar building. I know that you're now in the upper hangar?
I've moved to the middle one with
Yeah.
Emma and
Oh,
Tim now.
yeah, we're together.
And so that, we've only got one person left, is that right, John? And
That's Ray,
Ray.
and as soon as he puts the wings back on the plane, he'll fit in between these two guys. So he'll be,
Well,
Does he need the
when I-
wings on it?
when I talked to him, he was taking it out of town. He had taken it apart, and he said he was packaging it up to take it out of town to fix it.
that may be so. I have not talked to him
That was a few
recently,
weeks ago.
So the last time I talked to him, he was cleaning it up and was gonna put the wings back on. It would be easier for me to move it with the wings on,
Oh,
cause I
really?
got no way to move the wings, or nor do I
Oh.
want to.
Well,
So if
that's
it's on the
probably-
plane, then I can push it up there and put it
Right.
in the upper hangar.
Yeah,
So that's the,
he was taking it out of town last I talked to him.
okay.
And
Last conversation I had with him too, he was gonna temporary lease, till he was able to transport it, and that was, the last I heard was that his intent was to take it elsewhere.
Yeah.
And no
So-
longer lease or,
So either way, whether he takes it or we move it, he'll be out of there. So we're slowly making it vacant, completely vacant due to the inspection that we had last time. So
okay.
it's a process.
He indicated to me as well that within the month, he would have that airplane. He's got a trailer lined up and they were cleaning up the wings and we're gonna take it to his nephew has a hangar in Fort Worth, and that's what he represented to me, that in a month, he was gonna have it gone. Now, that's, so, but if we can get it gone. And so then the only other thing is the city stuff that's in there, is that right? The city equipment
That's
and the
it.
water, is there still
Is
water
the
in
fire
there?
truck still there?
Yeah.
The fire truck, and there's some disinfectant deodorizer pellets that we need to find a home for. And then we're coming on our winter pretty quick here, so all our snow equipment will be moved out. They're pretty quick.
We can actually move that disinfectant up to one of the,
You have room for it somewhere?
yeah, where the mower is.
Okay.
We can, that hanger that we pulled that you helped me clean, the small one. we
Yeah.
can stack it in there.
Nice. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but that's a good idea, and we'll work on getting that done. We're getting a new skid steer today or tomorrow, so we'll have our own big machine that can handle that weight, you know?
Okay.
And electrical, I probably didn't share a lot what I did electrical 2 years ago when I first moved in there. I guess probably should have shared more. It was not, the electrical wasn't working. We talked a little bit about it, what I did. I don't remember how much I shared. I did, because it was concern there. There was cloth wiring and stuff that with open boxes and things. So I cut all those out at the time. So you couldn't energize any of that cloth wiring. And I rewired all the outlets and the lights and the doors with all new wiring. So I think that stuff, just so you know, that part of it is new wiring, and the cloth wiring has been cut, so it wouldn't be energized, because that was making me nervous to be in there with that cloth wiring. The safety part, though, the concern, I think there's a 3-phase service in the very back that was still energized. And I don't know what, because nothing, then the box was like blown up and melted, so it couldn't even be used. And I think it was hot 2 years ago when I saw that. I don't know if that's still changed, so that service needs to be turned off probably, I guess. I was brand new at the time, so I didn't, maybe not, I don't know how much I shared and looked at it. I was just kind of looking. So anyway, I haven't looked at it recently.
I'm thinking once we remove everything out of that hangar, the service will be turned off, but until then, we need to be able to operate the door.
Yes, but you might turn off that I think there's a 3-phase service in the back that's not doing anything. That one is a safety concern if you're gonna be working in there and cleaning up. Maybe check and see if there's a 3-phase, a 2 separate meter. Is there 2? Looks like there might be 2 meters for that building, and get that 3-phase one off, because that's just a hazard. The single-phase service is useful. You've got lights and outlets and the doors and stuff for it.
Ernest will probably know about that, huh?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, we'll look into that to make sure that it's killed. And if it's not being utilized anyway, so it can, or it probably is off
There's nothing
already.
on the 3-phase back there.
Okay.
You can't even use it. The panel's damaged so bad you can't even use
I
it.
bet it's off. I bet electrician.
It was hot 2 years ago. It was hot when I first looked at it.
Did you meter it?
With a meter, yeah. it was
Okay, then 2 years ago it was hot.
Okay. And I guess at the end of the day, I assume that the plan is to demo that building. Is that on the list of improvements, or?
That was the understanding we came out of the last meeting, was demo was probably the best option for it due to the cost of
Yeah, but
some of the violations and stuff, and the fact that the state aviation was not willing to fund any kind of a remodel. They were willing to fund demo, or at least help fund the demo, but she was not interested in funding
Renovation?
renovation on it.
Is that the Jane person?
Yes.
Yes,
I-
state aviation.
So, okay.
And would
do you have
funds,
anything to add to that?
I don't. We went over the inspection last time, but it's in paper form here. Yeah, it was pretty bad, and we did see that box in the back, Kerry. It was still hot.
The 3-phase one.
Yeah, we'll get it off brand new soon.
It was still hot.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
and are there state funds available potentially to demo and then rebuild?
There is, they will help build hangars. But the first step would be to demo that.
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
But yeah, they were a little bit more, open to building new than they were renovating.
That's the
But
impression I got.
it's gotta be put in our CIP, the demo, and then that's gotta get done, and then we can apply for, funds for the rebuild.
Yeah, so it would be a two-phase project.
It would be.
A two-phase operation.
But we also put in our CIP to do T hangars, which is separate from rebuilding a big group hangar. So
Yes,
really, right now, that's really where we're looking at going is T hangars. It's just better for,
that's a good idea.
I would
for
think-
everybody
I've never
involved.
been
I
in one,
think
but
for people to
You
have
know, I
one,
think-
their
I think
own
that'd be
hangers and their
Yeah,
own availability to get in and out without, group hangars are kind of overrated.
Yeah,
There's a lot of liability with
Yeah.
moving other people's planes and stuff, and I don't think that at the moment, the airport needs it. I think T hangars would be a much better
I agree.
for the airport.
I would think.
agreed.
You're the only
Yeah.
one in one, but I think it looks nice to me.
I
Well,
like it.
it does give you some freedom. You don't have to worry about moving around somebody else's
I don't have to
plane.
watch
I
it.
mean, I haven't had to worry about moving around anybody else's
I
plane.
don't have to watch his plane when I back in.
Yeah.
But there's always the potential, and it happens. There's gonna be some hanger rash.
Yeah, Yeah.
Sooner or later, you may not have
Oh,
had
yeah.
it yet, but it's coming
yeah,
if you stay in a group hangar.
Yeah.
That just happens. So,
Yeah.
and I think John's point's well taken. The city doesn't really need the liability because Doc, if someone bends a wingtip
It's
and
Little
said, well, it wasn't me, that makes for a problem. And I guess the thing that I don't really understand, John, and maybe we can be talking about this, but if we demo that old hangar down there, I know we're in the process of developing the airport layout plan, and so I think one of the considerations needs to be, what are we going to do with that property once, if we're gonna demo it, then what would that be a site for another, like a big hangar like the one that Steve Alvis built, or Paul Leakey, or what are your thinking? What is your thinking for that property if we're gonna demo what's there now?
If you're asking my thought, and it's not something that's been discussed, but just because of the location and the apron that's in front and so forth, I think that would probably go in as a potential commercial build for somebody, maybe a medevac company that wants to come in and put a medevac plane in there and, needs a big hangar. That would be my suggestion to that, but, it could go to a private individual as well that wants a big hangar. It is a prime location for sure, but that's just my thought.
What's the slab like in there? You would know as
There's-
well as you.
The slab is
nice.
not in bad condition, but I don't know when you start building, I would venture that they would have to test it. So, just because it looks good doesn't mean that it is good. I'm guessing that before somebody puts a new building on that slab,
Yeah.
they would have to be tested.
Meet-
I would
meet
venture to say
certain
that the slab will be
specifications.
dismantled with the demo, just because of that.
You think it would be?
I would suggest that it would be.
I don't know what's under there. It
Oh,
looks
yeah.
nice, but I guess you don't know what's
Yeah.
under it. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
I have
that
no
would be
idea.
my,
Okay. Well, I guess ultimately if we need to get that on the list of airport, the AIP program.
We will, when we sit down to start that, that'll all get put in. We just haven't done that yet.
Any other discussion on this topic? Second item, status of the crack seal and pavement marking project.
I'm thinking Danny might be able to answer that a little better than me. He
So we are gonna award it to the American,
Thank you.
pavement, American road, it's American road, American airport pavement. We're just waiting on the final paperwork to go ahead and move forward with the project. We're waiting on their bonds and stuff like that through the engineer. But it
Okay,
did get approved by council to go ahead and move forward with them.
great.
And sorry, I'm behind, but just a quick, what is that?
Um,
Or from somebody?
Yeah,
I think maybe
good question.
John, could you go over kind of the parts of the airport that we'll crack seal and do the pavement markings on?
So we got one taxiway that was not completed and the last one due to quantity issues. So we're gonna do, taxiway, but most of the crack seal and, all of that stuff will be done on the ramp area and taxiways around the hangars. And that area will be most of that. And the signage project, we just completed the lighting project, which is on here. That's done 100%. We did the final inspection. There was a couple of things on the punch list that will be addressed, but nothing major. In that particular project, there was a few signs that were added that were needed. But the rest of the signage is still from one of the projects I did in 2001, so they're old, and so we're gonna redo all the rest of the signs with new signs.
And that one's out for bid right now, so it is the second phase of that signage project.
Okay, cool, thanks.
So
Did we sustain any damage now from the hail?
No.
After all? No, I'm good.
John, what taxiway are you doing the seal on?
I believe it's the one up to 3-2.
The taxiway going out to 3-2?
Yes.
To the approach end of 3-2.
Any other questions, comments, gentlemen, on these two matters? These projects? At the last meeting, next item is engineer's update. I see Mike's not here, but Mike indicated that he had been authorized to proceed with the airport layout plan. Do you know if he's, I know that part of that includes a survey, at least initially. Is
We've
he,
not started any of that. That part of it has not been started. And I'm not sure, I can't speak to Mike. I don't know if that's scheduling on his part or if it's still waiting on, I'm assuming that went through you.
Yeah,
That's
everything's
done,
been
right?
approved and everything. We have a task order. We're just waiting on the engineer to start that project.
but he's authorized to proceed.
Yes.
That was my understanding.
Yes.
But as far as we know, they haven't started working on it. Is that
No,
right?
they have
John?
not.
Okay. Next item 5, status of the antenna lease. Last meeting, it was, revealed that, or y'all said that, the negotiation for that antenna lease was, the city manager was doing that?
Yes.
Has that taken place?
That, Arnold has been working on that.
So it's been very difficult to finalize with them, but, so we invoiced them finally to get them, caught up to the lease payment that was agreed upon, in a lease that's actually expired, but they're still gonna pay that amount all the way to current date, okay? And then that needed to be completed. I've just been waiting on a call from a gentleman that supposedly is their negotiator. And I haven't heard from him. I'm gonna reach out to them today and see if I can move that along, but they're kind of non-responsive really, huh? That's been different. Did
He
you?
sent an email, I'm not sure if you saw it, it was Thursday or Friday, but he's available to meet this week.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I haven't caught up with my emails because I was gone. Nice, okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
So apparently, he reached out to us by email and, he's able to meet this week for that negotiation, hopefully. Yeah, so I'll follow up with him today, but we're getting closer. You know, good thing is that they committed to paying, you know, that lease.
How much was that invoice for, Arnold, the past due invoice? Pardon?
15,600.
15,600.
The 13 years.
Committee members, how much, I
Tower
don't know how
down
much
there.
you know about the
Yeah, I
whole
used to deal with them.
contract itself,
Guitar
that it was
place.
started
Oh,
in
yeah.
2000, it was a 7-year contract, and it was, an amendment was signed by, at the time, Mayor Sanchez for another 7 years, which would have gone through 2014. Somewhere around 2011, it fell off, and there was no payments that were tracked on our end or at, which is called Do It Now, which is the Information Technology State Department. And so they retro paid us from 2011 up to the current, and as Mr. Lopez has stated, that they will negotiate at full market value of what that piece of land is worth, and we'll start that negotiation shortly.
Have you determined at least your estimate of fair market value?
So we're communicating with other municipalities that have a state tower on there to look at what they're getting, and then we can use that as a tool to negotiate with the state.
Now, at one point, I thought there was some talk of the new lease should include a basic lease payment, but also should take into account how many antennas and how many users are up there that the state is getting revenue from. Will that be included in your negotiations with them?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I think it's just, I mean, that's revenue that rightfully would come to the airport for the improvements that are desperately needed. And we appreciate your efforts to get that thing negotiated, and $15,000 check is sure better than nothing, you know, so that's a good thing.
Just sorry, I'm catching up, but it's just city property that's being leased out for commercial purposes. And then, but it's on the airport, so it's part of that budget, is that how it works?
It's the tower as you
Down
go
the
up
hill,
on the, yeah.
I used to
downhill.
They used to shoot our house 20 years ago, so yeah.
Yep.
I think I know which one it is. But
It's got more antennas on it. I don't know how you can they couldn't hang any more antennas on it without reinforcing the tower, I don't think. I mean, it's loaded.
Yeah.
But the state, you mentioned the state's involved, or is it just a commercial entity we're dealing with?
It's a state-owned tower,
The state owns the tower
yes,
on the city land,
yes.
and the state deals with the radio people or whatever?
Yeah,
Not-
Yes.
income generation.
Okay, oh, cool, okay.
And we're not 100% sure if they have it privately leased out to other, radio communications or cell phone networks. We don't know exactly who's on there. We just see there's a lot of Zenith
Okay.
antennas on there. So
But
in
the
that
state-
communication, we'll say, you need to identify everybody that's on that tower.
The problem is the state's not paying the city?
Right.
Oh,
We
wow,
haven't
okay,
paid since 2011.
Wow,
So,
okay.
and Mr. Lopez and his department found that we hadn't been getting any revenue from that tower in some time. So now we're trying to rectify that and move forward with a better contract.
Perfect, okay, thanks for update, sorry I'm behind.
Thanks, sir. Any other discussion on the antenna? Okay, status of the mowing equipment. John, we understand you're gonna get a new tractor to replace the New Holland, is that?
Yes, that's still in the works. We went to the state to get an increase on our budget. Apparently, tractors have gone up a little bit since.
Yes, they
So,
have.
I believe that was already done, the increase, right?
Yeah, it's going through Jane, the
Yeah.
DOT aviation. So once she sends us the approved, agreement, we'll go ahead and move forward with that and get it approved by council and stuff.
What about the bush hog or the mower, the shredder, whatever you call it? Is that oh, is that piece of equipment okay, or does it need to be replaced too, John?
No, we're replacing the entire unit, tractor and batwing.
Okay,
It'll be a complete unit. That was the increase in the budget, was to just get a complete unit.
okay, so that would include the bush hog or
Bush
shredder,
hog, yes,
batwing,
sir.
or whatever we call it, okay. Okay, so you think that that'll be coming this winter probably?
We're hoping by early spring, we should be able to purchase it and get it here. It doesn't, from what I understand, it doesn't seem to be any kind of a supply issue with tractors, so we shouldn't have any problem getting it.
Will you have to go out for bid for that? Is that,
No, we'll piggyback off the state contract, DOT state contract, which, right now I believe is with John Deere. So,
so you'll be able to just piggyback on that? You won't
Yes,
have to? Okay. Well, those are nice units they're using for mowers on the highway, so you can get one of those. That's- Any other discussion on the mowing equipment?
No, sir.
Okay, new fiscal year budget review. Actually, before the meeting, Dominic said, we talked to him, as we looked, as I looked at it, and I think the other members, this was, there was really not enough detail, and there was nothing to include like grant funds or for example, expenses for employees. It was incomplete, and we did speak to Dominic, and he indicated to us that he kind of did not understand what we were asking for, but he said that he could put that together for us at the next meeting, so. But I think, I mean, obviously a budget has to be, all revenues and all expenses, and, you know, it'd show up that $15,000, I guess, that has come in. I mean, at least, so this was really so incomplete. I didn't see, really didn't see any real information here to speak of. I agree.
And I had one other question on that, if I could. Mr. Chairman, Arnold, do you know, or anybody, the budget or the finances at the city, are they handled on an accrual basis or on a cash basis? And what I mean by that is that if it's on the accrual basis, then in the report we have, it would include the $15,600 for that invoice that went out to the state for the tower. Cash-based means that it wouldn't show up on the report as money coming in until the actual check arrived. Do you know, I'm actually a little,
In my opinion, that'd be more like financed.
yeah, I know, and
The
I'm sorry, I don't even know myself, because I should know.
Distributors, it wouldn't be reflective on that document until the check is received.
Okay, so it's a cash base that these reports are done, so that helps me understand.
Unless it was something that we had anticipated when we submitted the budget to DFA in July.
Oh, and then it would show up,
Lease payments, you know, things like that that had already been in the works.
yeah, okay, I understand, thanks.
Any other comments on the budget?
It is a little hard to follow.
We don't really have enough information to even, I think we just, my feeling, gentlemen, is we could ask, and Dominic promised he'd get us another,
Yeah.
updated, current report, so I think,
Well, that'd be good for next meeting.
is that all okay with you guys?
Yeah, that was the initial intent for him to be here and, you know, and give whatever report he does, you know.
And basically, there's another portion to it, which is there's a different line item for the grants that you guys wanna see and stuff like that. I'd have to get you a copy of all that. what grants we actually have and, you know, the expense and revenue of those.
May I see the document that you have there?
This is just the starting off.
And then I have one last question too, if I could, while Leo's looking at that. My understanding that salaries are not accrued against a airport budget. They're accrued against somebody else's budget? Is that right? Because they're in the brief one we got, there's no salaries showing as accrued expenditures.
This is all grant funded funds, right?
Yeah.
This is all grant funds.
So this is just grant funds?
Yeah, that's what supports the airport. Our salaries and benefits are supported by the general fund under facilities budget.
Okay.
Question.
So that, for example, the employee salaries, that's not covered by lease payments or fuel sales or, I mean, I guess that's what we're not understanding is it just seems like money comes and goes kind of out of a black hole, Leo. That's the problem.
So a lot of these grants actually require a match from us, so a lot of that hangar fees and this, it actually goes into our matches and the grants that we do receive.
I understand, Daniel, but we're not seeing the whole picture. We're just seeing little bitty pieces. That's,
Yeah, even what we receive on hangar fees and stuff is not enough to even cover, you know, the employee fees
Didn't
or
cover a
anything.
lot,
well,
It's enough.
but some.
Documentation of grants.
at least last year y'all had some pretty good fuel sales, did you not?
From the fire.
Yeah,
Yeah, because of the fires. you mean?
yeah.
I can imagine that the airport does not generate a surplus, that it barely covers the expenses of utilities and fuel costs and all those types of things, so. But we can get you something a little more detailed. to show
Yeah.
you.
Well, isn't that what's coming in a month?
Well, next meeting, I guess.
3 months.
3 months, but
Oh, yeah,
But-
3 months.
yeah, I guess we've always been particularly concerned about the revenues because, you know, the city raised the lease payments on the, for example, the hangars, which we didn't object to. We were in favor of. And like the tower lease, we raised that issue because we felt like that money should go into the airport operating budget. And we know that even doing the best that you can do, it's probably a losing proposition. But how much of a loss is it? And what can we do? I mean, as a user, I'd like for the city to be able to break even, so they're not losing money on it. And one of the things John did is negotiated a fuel fluids lease for the companies that came in fighting the fires and doing the seeding. They didn't buy fuel, but they're paying the fuel fluids fee, which also came into the airport revenue. So that's our concern. If it's a losing proposition, it's just not good long-term for the continued operation of the airport. That's kind of where we're at, and I think y'all would be the same, y'all are in the same place. We need to generate as much revenue as we can.
I think it's very difficult for that airport to ever self-sustain, you know, based on the demand, for one. You know, we don't get much demand here for aircraft really. Other than if it wouldn't be for local ranchers, we'd probably be almost down to not very much, all right, John?
Yeah, and, you know, going to that, topic, there's, according to state aviation, there's only 2 airports in the entire state that are running in the black. So what you're seeing with our airport is not uncommon. It's, you know, and, you know, obviously we wanna make the most money possible, and that's always our goal. We are a business. So I do appreciate that, you know, so.
We wanna support that, John, and I know. But one thing that we haven't ever really seen is we haven't seen the numbers. I mean, I doubt that it's self-supporting, but honestly, since we still haven't seen the numbers. I mean, are you losing $100,000 a year, or are you losing $10,000?
And that was my intent. I thought we were gonna get all that, but we'll work on that on the next meeting. We'll have more detail and provide you with that you're requesting. I was under the impression that's what I was expecting too, but I thought Dominic was gonna be here and be able to, you know, on his laptop, bring up information, easily and answer any of your questions, you know. It's none of our, field finance, so we couldn't answer for him. There's a lot of detail there.
Question, that's okay. Just on that, on the timing, I'm new to this, so I'm a little behind, sorry, but quarterly, would we not have any discussion till next meeting and we see this? Do we get to like maybe see something sooner and we can at least look at it and have interaction with him over the quarter?
Well, I guess I would hope that it would be furnished to us prior to the meeting. That's generally the way it works. I mean, and at the meeting, then he would be present and we could ask any questions that we.
Okay, but nothing until whatever that is, January,
Unless you give
So-
direction.
December.
Yeah, we can get more detail, we can send you some document, but just so we're all clear, I mean, there is not a lot of revenue that comes into the airport. I mean, it's just lease payments and fuel sales. You can tell- you can see
And grants.
Well, grants, right. So like line item 4 shows you right now where we're at with how much fuel sales and hangar lease payments that we've received based on projected amounts of 200,000 and 18,000.
Problem is with the grants, are real specific to what they can be utilized on. You know, so you cannot get a grant for something and use it towards wages or salaries or whatever, of course, you know.
I understand,
So,
but there
so
were,
as far as the grants, they're real specific, right, John, to whatever the grant is appropriated for?
That's all we can use it for, and if we don't use the entire amount, then it reverts back to the state. You know, and you know that, you've been around long enough to understand that. I think Rod's just asking for basically an itemized thing, and
Yes, sir.
that needs to come from finance. Like Arnold said, none of us can answer those questions, so we'll get with finance and see if they can do something a little bit more to what you're asking for, and we'll try to get it to you as soon as possible. That's all we can do.
okay, John, appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, my quick analysis says that if you look at page 1 of this report, that the fuel sales and hangar fees just pay for the fuel that we buy and the processing associated with it. It's just about break even. It's 175, 100. So the total view of the airport budget would be a deficit at least equal to the salaries of the people that work there and any other maintenance and repair kind of items that come out of the general fund. And Leo, so those funds are in account 100, is that correct, out of the general fund? Do you know what the next 4-digit number is that goes with that?
It's facilities, but I can't remember what, public works facilities, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
101, 5100,
I'm sorry, 100 what?
51.
5100, okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, question or comment? I'm just, along that, it looks to me like this fuel doesn't even pay for itself, which I was surprised about. Why is hangar fees subsidizing fuel? I would assume.
Again, I'm not finance, I can't answer that. I can tell you that we're not losing money on fuel, so.
That's what this report, that's what
Yeah,
we were given shows.
yeah.
I'm just like John, you're not losing money on fuel. It may be that you bought 10,000 gallons
Inventory.
inventory,
Oh,
but,
okay.
but,
Cause you're on a cash basis.
well, yeah.
No, this just doesn't show inventory, so that there's still fuel in the tanks that you've paid for that shows up on here as an expense, but you haven't gotten the revenue from it yet because it hasn't been sold to somebody buying it to put in their
Time
airplane.
that shouldn't have, that's the difference in inventory from start to beginning of this thing is all that would matter.
Yeah, well, you'd have to look at the balance sheet also, not just the income report.
But in general, you charge enough to cover the fuel costs, right? I mean, you're not trying to subsidize fuel, surely, right? Okay,
No.
good. Just, that's what
No.
this showed, so
No,
I
we're
was,
not in the business of giving fuel away.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like to pay high prices, but I'm like, there's more people
Do you
coming
remember our
through here.
current profit on the fuel right now?
Cause the,
Your markup's about $1, isn't it, John?
It's about, we keep it about $1. I mean, it fluctuates a little bit, but it's in and around there.
okay,
So we pay, the fuel pays for itself
okay,
and makes around $1 profit for,
okay. Cause that's the numbers I've seen. I mean, you gotta keep it low, cause pilots will land where there's cheap fuel, because it's easy to do. So you have to keep it reasonable, but we're in a spot here, just on the edge of these mountains, where was amazed. I had no idea till I moved out there how many transient pilots there are coming through this place. And you have the numbers. I think it's like 30 a day, right? Or 20, I don't know.
I don't know that
some-
we don't get 30.
Not 30 a day, 20.
I wish we did, but
There was some number. You have those numbers, right? I was amazed at those numbers. It's just being out there. If you go out there and work on the hangar, there's planes
Yes.
coming in and out.
Mhm.
And they're buying fuel.
it's a lot busier than most people think.
People don't like to fly over the mountains. They fly around them here. So this is like, we're in a funnel here on the mountains where people come through here and want to stay here. They want to go eat here. They want to stay the night here. I mean, that's a different budget, maybe tourism thing, but I mean, I go to La Junta for gas and meal because I can borrow a courtesy car and go to their thing downtown, which is like our Charlie's here. And people do that here too. So I think that's important to keep that going. I don't know what kind of money that generates for the city of, people coming through here and going to the hotels and going to eat at the restaurants here and having a courtesy car available for that.
I'm sure it helps with GRTs. I'm not sure that we get enough people to say that it's a big impact.
Yeah, it's
on
not
the
a huge
GRTs,
impact.
but-
Nice to know what those are, numbers a little bit, but.
So do you adjust your price each time you purchase fuel? Is that when you change it?
Yes.
Kind of figured it would have been a hard year this year, or the past 2 years, the way fuel prices have gone.
It's hard.
Yeah, up and down, up and down.
Well, then we're switching, I don't know when we're switching here, we're switching to the unleaded. That's gonna happen in the next year, probably.
No.
You don't think so? It's happening in California. It's happening around the country
I
now.
think it might happen by 28 or 29.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about it yet.
I don't think we gotta deal with it yet.
I could add something to the fuel sales. A lot of this money that's generated, there's yearly inspection that requires him to replace filters and hoses and stuff like that. A lot of that money goes to spend that as well. I know some of the filters on his trucks are pretty pricey,
Mhm.
So a lot of this money that's generated actually goes to pay for all this stuff, that he needs to actually keep in compliance with the state.
Right.
And one last quick question. Does transient traffic increase during hunting season?
Yes.
A fair amount, you think?
It varies from year to year. I mean, after the fires, it's declined a little
Yeah.
bit, but it seems to be picking up a little bit now with the later fall to winter hunts.
Yeah.
So
Okay. That was my impression also.
Any other issues on the budget, gentlemen? Okay, I'd hope Jane would be here for an update. On any new funding, John, do you have any idea of any new funding or?
I do not.
Okay. Well, given the fact that we don't have any information there, I think that covers the discussion items. Brings us up to adjournment. Take a motion to adjourn, gentlemen.
So moved.
Moved,
Second?
moved by Bob, second by Kerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you for attending. Appreciate y'all.